Okay, now we're ready for our homework assignment number 2, which will include the second string from the Hal Leonard book, starting on page 8, 9, and 10. The song that you'll have to play for credit, which will be Ode to Joy. And we'll go over all of the exercises now. So the notes on the B string that we have to learn are B, C, and D. And they're the same exact fingering as the first string, E, F, and G, except they're on the second string, B, C, D. So B is the open second string, C is the first fret, second string. Remember to keep your fingers nice and high. The third finger on the third fret goes to D. Make sure you don't play that with the second finger, but you use the fingers 0, 1, and 3 to stretch. I'm going to say a word about picking now. When you pick the notes starting from the second string on, you might want to try this. This is called the rest stroke. There are basically two ways of picking single notes on the guitar. The free stroke is when you just take the pick and let it go like that and not stop it against anything. So this would be the free stroke. Notice how far my hand moves away from the guitar. The second stroke, which I recommend for this, is called the rest stroke. And there, what you're doing is you're letting the pick actually touch and rest and stop on the next adjacent string down. So in this case, the first string. So you're going, and notice how the pick is resting there. Give you a close-up. So we have free stroke and rest stroke. The reason I recommend the rest stroke is because it doesn't allow your pick to go so far away from the string, and it also produces kind of like a bounce back, so you get ready for your next note quicker, like this. So just practice the rest stroke by letting your pick rest against the string, count 3 or 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try the rest stroke with exercise number 9. Remember to hold the first finger down between the second and third fret from the C to the D. First we have B, C, D, C, B. Okay, I'll count us off. 1, 2, 3, 4. B, C, D, C, B. One, 2, 3, 4. B, C, keep the finger down. D, C, B. Remember to practice as slowly as possible with a steady beat. That helps you be able to change the notes quicker, actually. The slower you play, the faster you can play later. Interesting. Number 10, half notes. Each one gets 2 beats. It's going to be B, B, C, C, D, D, C, C, B. Let's play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, you happen to lift your first finger up while going from the C to the D, don't worry, it's not a big deal. It's just kind of a good habit to get into. But don't worry about it, not worth worrying about. Number 11, quarter notes. B's, C's, D's, C's, and B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how I held out that last B note for its full 4 counts. Let's do number 11 again. This time I'll supply you the chords while you play the quarter notes and that whole note at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Notice what I did with the right hand there when I wanted to stop the chord. I just took the edge of my right hand, kind of like a karate chop, but softly, just laid it down on the strings, and that mutes all the chords, or the strings of the chord. Okay, up to number 12. It says here in the instructions on top, play them a slow tempo. Remember, tempo means speed. Gradually increase the speed as you get better. If the notes are fuzzy or unclear, it's time to stop drinking. Oh, no, it doesn't say that. It says, if your notes are fuzzy or unclear, move your left hand finger slightly until you get a clear sound. That means, well, there's a couple reasons why your notes aren't coming out clear. It could be you're not pressing hard enough, like this. If your guitar has a very high action, which means the strings are far away from the neck, then it takes much more pressure to press down. Or it could be you're not close enough to the fret. If you go way back here, you also get a bad sound. So you want to get as close to the fret as possible without touching it. I nudge my finger right up against it. Kind of looks like I'm over it probably in the video, but I'm not. Also, try to keep the nails of your left hand short, while growing the nails of your right hand will help with finger picking later on. Here's number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's number 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now hold the next one for 2 counts. Then another 2 counts. Quarters. And then a whole. That's a tricky one, because on the second measure you have to switch from quarters to halves like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And rhythm is so important in music. Number 14, moves from string to string. As you're playing one note, as it says, look ahead to the next and get your fingers in position. So that always goes back to keeping your fingers like little helicopters over the landing pad, ready to go over the particular fret that you're on, in this case the first or the third. The first 3 notes are going to be on the second string. The second 3 notes are going to be on the first string. All whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, ready to go to the first string now. Just move your pick down one string, F, and then G. Good. Number 15 can be a little tricky because you're switching from the second string to the first string almost every measure. In fact, every measure except the next to the last measure and the last measure, which is on the second string, C. Let's try it. Let's spell the notes first. B, E, B, E, C, E, C, E, D, E, second line, D, E, D, F, D, F, E, G, C. This brings up another point. Some students say, is it a good idea to write in the letter over the note? I would say that's a good idea in the beginning, but not if you really want to learn how to read music, because you'll always have to rely on that for a crutch. You'll never be able to just pick up a piece of music without having to write the note over it and search for it, and you'll never be quite sure what the note is. So I suggest, if you want to do that, make a Xerox copy of the book, or of that page actually. Practice the page for a few days with the notes written in, and then throw it away and try to memorize it and see how much you've memorized without writing the notes down. Okay, let's play number 15. 1, 2, ready, go. B, E, B, E. Now C, C, E, C, E, D, D, E, D again, D again, and then we go to F. E, F, E, G. Now back to the second string, C. So try playing that with your book while listening to this video, and then you'll be able to hopefully put it all together. World beat gets a little more challenging. The thing to remember about world beat is there is no E note in it. It skips directly from D to F without the open E string. And to me it sounds kind of like an Indian song. If you ever heard the Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there's a Indian song, type of Indian song by George Harrison called Within You, Without You. Kind of reminds me of that. That's why it's called world beat, I suppose. Let's try it. I think you should spell the notes by yourself until you get comfortable with them, just saying them out loud, and then we'll play it together. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now skip to the G. Second line. I hope you're trying the rest stroke with this song, and what we'll do now is I'll play the chords and you can try the melody over the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. like you to pay particular attention to the second and third measure, because you have to hold out that B note on the third beat for 2 counts, and then the G note for 2 counts. A lot of students shortchange those beats. Great. Let's turn the page. Number 17, Ode to Joy. This will be the song for your credit. Now, you probably heard this song before. I'll play it with the chords just so you get familiar with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I kind of made that a little bit fancier. The truth is, what the book does is simplifies these melodies, so it leaves out some of the beats that the original song had. For example, the original song has at the end of the 4th measure, and it's written as, and that's only because we haven't learned how to read those beats yet. However, with such a familiar song, if you want to play it like you hear it, that's fine. Of course, I played it with the chords. What you'll play is just the notes, and it'll sound more like this. And this time I'll play it straight like the book says. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now here comes that tricky 3rd line, measure 5. It does get a little tricky here, and it does vary from the original Beethoven melody. It sounds like this. And on to line 4. Good tune to memorize for your repertoire that you can just pull out and play from memory. That'd be great. Try to memorize just 1 measure, 2 measures at a time, until you can memorize that little bit and then add the next measure to it until you got the whole song going. One more exercise called the blues, number 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 5, 2nd line. Line 3. Now I'll play some chord background for it, so it'll sound more bluesy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Well, that was second homework in the Hal Leonard book. If you have any questions, email me, and I look forward to looking at your videos of Ode to Joy.